Right, okay, so in this wee example, as much as we've chosen the PHP workspace just now, we won't necessarily do any PHP on it right away, but it just means that it's there for us when we need it later on. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to File, and I'll just go New from Template, okay? I'll just try that, and I'm going to choose HTML file, and you'll see it sets up an HTML document for you. So say just typing that out every time, okay? And the first thing I'm going to do is save it. So I'll just go to Save As, and just call it index.html. It's important to call it index.html. Make sure it's indexed with a small I, because that's the first file your server will look for when it runs. Okay. So the setup of this is a wee bit laborious, but it's worth it. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do in this, we'll give the page a title. Okay. And in there, I'm just going to say Michael's Bike Shop. You can put your own name in there or whatever you want. All right. Okay. The first new thing we're going to look at here, and we're still inside the head of the document. I'm going to try and show you some good practice here, right? I am always quite lax with my comments when I'm doing things, but I'm trying, right? And you should try too. So to put a comment in here, I'm just going to start my tag and put an exclamation mark in, and then 2 dashes. And then I'm just going to put in, I'm just going to explain what I'm about to do. So I'm going to use the viewport, and that sets up the site to fill the mobile screen. Okay, and underneath that, I'm going to put in the meta tag, and the meta name equals viewport. Okay, and you'll see that Code9's quite good because it tries to fill these things out for you. Content equals device width and initial dash scale equals 1. Okay. What's that? I'm not even, I'm not even sure what theme I'm using. I'm not sure, to be quite honest with you. It's under Vibrant Link ink is on in mine. Alright. Does that make it a bit more readable? Is that better? Okay. So, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a link to two different JQuery libraries. Okay. The first one, see, to be honest with you, what I would usually do here, I would usually copy and paste this from somewhere, right? I would either be Google would host it, or the JQuery website. So I'm just going to say script source equals https / code .jquery.com / jQuery -1.11.3.min.js. Okay, and then the end the script. So that's a link to the main jQuery library. It's a minimized version of it. Okay, the other thing I'm going to link in is the mobile one, and this is the kind of crucial one for what we're doing. And again, https code.jquery.com/mobile /1.4.5 /jQuery.mobile -1.4.5.js. Now, it's crucial that you've got that right, because if you don't have it right, it's not going to access the jQuery libraries. Alright. If it doesn't access the jQuery libraries, the rest of the exercise is almost kind of deemed useless in terms of actually producing something functional. Okay. Right, the next thing we want to do is link into the jQuery mobile CSS, right? And again, this is hosted for us. So I'm just going to put a wee comment in and just say linking to jQuery mobile CSS. This saves us coming up with all the wee, it saves us writing an entire style sheet for mobile. Okay, so you're kind of piggybacking on the back of technology that's already there. And again, it's just it's going to be a link. This time it's link href. Right, no, sorry, I'll change that. Link rel equals style sheet. And href equals. And again, https /code.jquery.com /mobile /1.4.2 /jQuery .mobile -1.4.2 .min.css. And this again is just a file that is hosted on the jQuery site, and it controls the way things are going to look on our page. At that point, I will just save my page. Okay. There's nothing to see on it yet, but we're going to save it and run it. And we're just going to check the console to see how it looks. Yep, there you go. And I'm going to do this as much to check that I've got it right as well, because I'm prone to typos too. Okay, so if I want to see how this looks, I'm just going to go to preview. In fact, I'll run project first, sorry. So click and run project. Wait for the server to kick in down here. And then go to preview and preview running application. And the window should pop up here. Now there's nothing in the page at the moment. I don't particularly like previewing my sites inside software other than the browser itself, right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on the wee button to pop this out, and then just drag it across the left hand side, and that takes up half my screen. I'll move that across the other half. Okay. And what I'm going to do in here is I want to have a look and see if there's any errors. So I'm going to click on the wee options in Chrome and go to Tools and Developer Tools, and that gives me my menu there. Now it's giving me one error, and it's just saying that it hasn't got the favicon icon. That's okay. Okay, that's not a big issue at the moment. Alright. So I think I've set the document up okay. Okay. So that's the kind of head of the document taken care of for the moment. The next thing I want to do is start working on the body of the document. Right. In the body of the document, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a section. Okay. So I'm just going to say section ID equals page 1. And the important thing here, well, one of the more important things, let's say data dash row equals page. Okay. A few blank lines there. And I'm just going to put in a wee paragraph saying this is page 1. Now, I don't know how you guys have done websites before. The difference about this is that we're going to set up multiple pages inside the one document. Right, have you done that before at all? Right. So the section, see this here? Consider this section to be a page. And what I'm going to do is just copy that entire section, a couple of blank lines and paste it in again. The only difference being I'm going to change that to page 2, and I'm going to change that to page 2. Okay, so this is page 1, this is page 2. Now, just to help things, as I said, I'm trying to be good with the comments. Above the first section there, I'm just going to put in a wee comment saying this is page 1. And above the second one, a wee comment, this is page 2. Okay. And I'm going to save it. Let's drag it across left hand side and refresh my page. And what you see here is this is page 1 appears. That's the only thing. This is what I want. Page 2 is not appearing yet. Okay. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a hyperlink in here. Let's say AHF equals. Now, I am linking to where? Where do you think I'm trying to link to here? I'm trying to link to page 2, right? So the href is equal to hash page 2. You put in the hash because it's an ID you're linking to. Right? And I'm just going to say go to page 2. And then on page 2, I'm going to copy that line of code, paste that in there, and change that to page 1. Okay, and save it. And you'll see now that we've got two, it appears that we've got 2 pages. We've not really, right? We've got 2 sections. Okay. Right, so the next point we're going to do is put in the header and the footer to the document. And we can use a bit of JQuery to do that. The first thing I'm going to do is, outside of any of the pages and just underneath the body, I'm going to create the head. So I'm just going to say div, and again, crucially, data-role equals header. And JQuery and the JQuery CSS, they know how to treat it when you style things like this. And in this case, I'm going to say data position equals fixed. What that means is that the header is always at the top of your page. You know how if you're in some mobile apps, you can scroll down and the header goes away. We want the header to sit there, so that'll keep it there, right? Okay. And there we have to decide what content we want to put in. We're going to put in an H1 and just say the bakery. All right. Okay, now down at the bottom of the page, just before you close the body tag, we're going to do the same thing, except it's for a footer this time. So data dash row equals footer. Data dash position is the same. I want it fixed. Okay, and we'll just put in a wee paragraph. This is the footer. Okay. So let's say I'm not expecting that to be perfect at the moment. I'm going to save it. I can. It's exactly the same as the footer, to be honest with you. Okay, so I'm going to save that and then again refresh it and see what it looks like. Now, did you see it very briefly flicking up on the screen? Right. So it's been created, but it doesn't know where to put it because what it's doing is it's loading that in and it's loading page one, the page one section over the top of it. So what we want to do is we want to write a wee bit of code that sticks the header and the footer into every document, right? So I want to go into the head of my document here. Now, we are going to use some JQuery, right? You have to use JQuery after you've loaded in the library. Does that make sense? Because if you try, so say if I go up to line 7 and I try and reference the JQuery library there, it'll give you errors because it'll say, well, I don't know what that means because you're putting the cart before the horse, if you like, right? You're trying to get it to do something before you've loaded it in. So I'm just going to go down to the end section of my head. And in there, I'm going to write a wee bit of JQuery. Now, last week I looked at writing functions and a kind of funny syntax. So I'll start off with my put script in. Just to warn the browser that we're using some scripts. And I'm just going to put a wee comment in and just say, this code, sorry. I'll put a comment above the script. And just say, this code loads in the header and the footer to the page as toolbars. Okay. So again, I don't expect you to be used to the jQuery syntax yet, right? The $sign tells the machine that we're working with jQuery. And we put in function. And it's simpler. See that extra bracket it's put in for me, trying to help me out. It might be simpler to take that out just now. I'll leave it in. Okay. And I'll put in another bracket because that's where the function's going to go. Couple of blank lines. And this is where the actual code that's going to manage it goes. Okay. So, again, you use the $sign to tell it you're working with jQuery. And what we have to do is we have to access, and again, we're using the DOM almost here. We're accessing the header and the footer of the document. So by that, we put in a quote. And the first one we want is the header. So it's data dash row equals header. And we're not finished yet. What else do we need? Footer. So we go in there and say data dash row equals, oops, footer. Okay. And what we want these two things to do is we want them to behave like toolbars. So to make these two things that we've selected behave like toolbars, we just say dot toolbar. Okay. There's one wee thing I've got to fix, and that is in line 19. We're finished with our JQuery, so I have to put a semicolon down there to finish it. Okay. Now, as I said, I don't expect you to remember the structure of the JQuery, but I want you to be able to look at it and know what it's doing there. So we can only really test this by saving it and running it. So I will save, and I'll go and have a look at it. Okay, and if it works, if it's not worked with a syntax, well, what you should see is that the bakery is sitting up at the top, right? Looking slightly like a mobile app. Clicking page 1 and it should stay. Now, I have not got tons of content in this page, but what should happen then is on the browser, if somebody scrolls, that holds its position on every single page in this section. Okay? Yes.